Yeah, I mean, it's really based on this premise that a lot of times we try to map everything out, right? We try to have a plan, and you know, that's the way how we function a lot of times in as individuals, but also as companies or organizations. But then, you know, the unexpected happens, things like COVID happen, and then we're like, oh my God, we need to make the best out of it now. And so it's really about building that muscle for the unexpected that allows us to turn that into positive outcomes. And so, you know, the beautiful thing is, like, serendipity is all about that kind of smart active luck that's very different from the blind luck. You know, the blind luck of being born into a good family or something, we can't really influence that. I mean, at least not that I know of, but that's kind of the blind luck. But then there's this smart active luck, which is all about seeing something, the unexpected, and then connecting the dots. And so, you know, imagine the quintessential situation. You know, if you have erratic hand movements like I do, you spill coffee in a coffee shop. I mean, back in the days when they were still open, you spill that coffee over someone else. You sense there might be some kind of connection. You sense there might be something there. You don't know what it is. And now you have two options, right? Option number one is you just say, I'm so sorry, here's a napkin. You walk outside and you're like, oh my God, I should have talked with this person. What could have been, right? And
yeah,
then the
totally
other option is, exactly. And the other option is you say, I'm so sorry, I was in my head about XYZ idea, start a conversation, and that might become your co-founder, your love partner, your XYZ, right? And so it's really these kind of moments where the unexpected happens, but then what we do with it, our response to that really shapes kind of our future. And so what's fascinating about serendipity is that we can make these accidents more meaningful, but also we can create more meaningful accidents. And that's kind of really the fascination there.
No, that I think that's a brilliant summary. And I had written down in my notes, developing a muscle to deal with the unexpected. So I think that's straight from your book. But I think the nice thing you were talking about is that you can almost turn this into a process. So rather than waiting for luck to happen to you, and I think it's essentially recognizing the trigger point, connecting the dots, and then having the tenacity to really go and drive until you find that a bit of luck. Is that broadly correct, Christian?
Absolutely. And to your point, right, that's the beauty of it, that once we don't see it as a singular event, so, you know, synchronicity, for example, is all about a meaningful coincidental event, right? But there's not much we do about it, versus like serendipity as the process of that kind of trigger that happens, but then also that we have to do something with, we have to connect the dots and the tenacity. The beauty of this three-step process is every step we can influence. We can seed more potential triggers, we can make more with those triggers, we can connect the dots differently, but also we can develop our grit, our tenacity, and so on, to really turn these moments into something that's sustainable.
And I think the interesting point there is that you need to have resilience, because, yeah, as we were talking about before, you just really have to keep being persistent, obviously not in an unpleasant sort of way, but I think if you have that real grit and determination, then and try and see these things through, then hopefully at the end of the process, you will have that bit of luck which potentially can change your life.
Exactly. And that's really something, I mean, I feel especially at the moment, right, when you have moments such as now where COVID, you know, I think all of us feel kind of quite tense, and that there's a lot of kind of, you know, moments of anxiety and so. And I think especially in those moments, kind of thinking about, okay, when in the past have I faced similar moments? How did I go about it? How can I go about it differently now? And or similarly, if I did that well in the past. And so I'm actually a big fan of making or having a serendipity journal where you write down what are the kind of moments, even though it's a tough time, where still these kind of things can happen. Is it the kind of conversations I have? Can I ask slightly different questions? Or is it, you know, that I take another street when I go on my morning run, that where I could, like, you know, see something in the windows differently, whatever it is, like opportunities to essentially see that in every moment, every conversation, could be something beautiful, because then it gives us more of this kind of grit and resilience of believing it is worth to still, you know, be out there and do things, versus feeling that, oh, you know, let's just shut down for the next 5 years and then wake up once the world opens up again.